Hey y'all, this is Treacherous Slayer coming at y'all with another video. And before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Now tonight, y'all, we're about to get into Ryan Coogler's latest film, The Sinners. Now y'all, I just left the theater and let me tell y'all, this is definitely one of the best films that emerged from 2025 thus far because y'all, I was not expecting the twists and turns that this movie put me through. And not to mention, I definitely fell in love with the casting. The storytelling was very beautiful. And y'all, if you haven't watched Sinners yet, go get y'all tickets now and definitely go watch Sinners because it's definitely one for the books. I cannot wait till it comes out on Blu-ray because I'll definitely be getting it. Now, the film is set in the antebellum South in the 1930s, and y'all, it is so aesthetically pleasing to the eye, just how they nailed this era down to the T, y'all. It was crazy, like, down to the factories, the color tones, and the fashion that each character was wearing. Like, it definitely described the time period at the time. And not to mention the sensitive historical problems that plagued that specific era, especially in the 30s. You know, this is pre-segregation and everything, so, you know, right in the thick of it. Now, the film starts off with a snippet from towards the end of the film when we're introduced to Sammy, who is Smoke and Stack's cousin. So obviously Sammy's trudging to the church all bloodied and beaten up, and his father, who's the pastor at that church, tells him, like, you need to, you know, put down a guitar and, you know, commit yourself to God and give up this devilish lifestyle, which is, he believes, obviously pursuing a career in music is going to be tied to the devil. So after we brush past that scene, we're introduced to the main character, Michael B. Jordan's characters, which Michael definitely did a phenomenal job portraying two different personalities because this was a great watch. He plays these two twins. I had to remember, I was like, oh no, this is just Michael B. Jordan, because I was like, wait, where did his twin come from? I was like, wait, since when did Michael B. Jordan have a twin? But yeah, he did a great job. And like, although they were twins, they still had two different personalities. And we're also introduced to Annie, who is Smoke's past lover, and we learned that they had a child that they lost together. And she tells him, like, what brings you back here, obviously. And we learn, obviously, that Smoke and Stack came from Chicago, and they brought back some valuable Irish beer with them so they could start their own juke joint and basically, you know, make money in their community and give back to their community. As Annie and Smoke are reconciling, we see Stack taking Sammy under his wing, since Sammy doesn't really want to commit to the church life at the moment and he wants to pursue his career in music. Since we've seen that he's very good at the guitar, and he practically takes the guitar with him everywhere throughout the movie, which definitely came in handy towards a certain scene. So yeah, we're also introduced to Pearline, who obviously is already a taken woman, and Sammy's definitely interested in her, and he even, you know, treads the water, asks her, like, is she happily married? And she was like, you know, you're playing a dangerous game, you know, don't go down that road. So yeah, that was funny to see. And also, we are introduced to Haley Steinfeld's character, Mary, and as she notices Stack, she and him have a mini back and forth, and Sammy's just sitting there, like, awkward as they're on a mission to get Slim to come to the juke joint so he could play music for them, because obviously you can't have a juke joint without any music, you know, no one's gonna show up. So Mary and Stack have this little debacle about Stack just leaving her high and dry, and how she waited for him, and she's only been in love with him, and he's still telling her to go home to her husband and everything, and, you know, forget that she even crossed paths with him. So obviously I know that's not gonna happen, so she's standing on business and she's gonna get what she wants. And so we're then seeing periodically how Smoke and Stack are recruiting everyone to come and help get the juke joint started, And this whole movie, it was just like a build up and introduction to each character. We're also introduced to Smoke's past friends, Grace and Bo, and they're definitely some of my favorite characters from this film as well. We see a scene where the movie's main villain, Remick, who's obviously the head of vampire things, he stumbles across this couple's home since he was literally trying to escape the rising sun. So that was a funny scene to see, and he tricks them, and their names are Bert and Joan, and he notices a Triple K hoodie in a cut, and notices obviously that they're not too friendly to just anyone, so he manipulates them and tricks them, and obviously he first turns Bo and then he ends up turning Joan, so now he has 2 more vampires on his team. So given if you watch the trailer, you should know where this goes. As everyone's just vibing in a juke joint and everything, and the music is just consuming the juke joint. I would say the music definitely plays a key role in this film, and it's just showing the historical context of each culture and how they blend and coincide with one another into the music we have today. Because Sammy, that man definitely has a voice on him. That actor did an amazing job portraying Sammy and showing how passionate Sammy was about his music. And little did Sammy know that music attracted the ears of Remick, so that's what brought him to the juke joint in the first place. And that scene where Sammy was singing and it was just showing all the different influences of music on each different culture, and I loved how it showed just past iterations in terms of ancestors, like dancing to the beat, like tribal beats, and we also seen some tones of some Chinese flutes and stuff that I loved, and I just love flutes. And also some club music in terms of some DJs altering the beats and just how all of it connects to one another, and that was great to see how music, it became its own character within the film. So yeah, if y'all like music and instrumentals and stuff, y'all should definitely check this out as well. Soon Remick and company show up at the juke joint, that's when things start to go south like real quick, because they tried to invite themselves in. Obviously, we know, according to vampire lore, you have to be invited in to even be able to come into any kind of establishment or home of the owner, if especially you're trying to feed on them if you're a vampire. And Remick tries to display this when he tries to invite himself in after he tries to blend in with the normal people in terms of disguising himself as a traveling artist that just wants to play music. And the twins obviously refuse his offer and just, ban them from coming in, and they slowly walk away hesitant and hoping to change the twins' mind, since it's obviously a juke joint and they're playing all kind of music. And obviously they're not going, so Haley convinces Stack that she'll go talk to them and see what they really want, and that was definitely one mistake she shouldn't have made, because I'm like, yeah, Mary, you should probably just stay in the bar, girl. So I don't want to spoil too much about the plot, but yeah, I would just say all hell breaks loose in that juke joint, and some people get turned into vampires and some don't. That's what I'll say on that. And it was very action-packed once it hit, when Remick arrived to the juke joint. That's when they started trickling down. So overall, Sinners is definitely a must-watch film. I would say with that ending, very satisfying ending when it comes to Smoke's decision making and how he had to basically take the lead in a situation that just gone horribly wrong and losing a few people very close to that. It was just such a sad watch, especially when he realized how important the idea of community and maintaining that community is within this film, because at first he was always this rigid businessman, but then he realized how important that compassion is when it comes to the connections we make with one another, especially in a world where they're so hateful towards, you know, certain cultures. So overall, the end, like I said, y'all definitely need to just go check out Sinners, because it's definitely one of the best films to come out of 2025. And y'all also gotta stay tuned to those post-credit scenes, because the post-credit scene just puts icing on a cake. Like, that was such a warm and cathartic ending. Like, the ending was very cathartic. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about when y'all watch it, because I would say this is definitely like I would say this day and age is Gone with the Wind. I would say very much antithesis of Gone with the Wind, if you catch my drift. So, yeah. Y'all definitely need to check this out, because it was a 10 out of 10. Storytelling top tier, the score top tier, and the color tones and the sound just blended so beautifully together. The casting was perfect, and I have no complaints with the dialogue. The dialogue was very time specific too, so it'll take you a minute sometimes to kind of understand properly the metaphors that they use within the film and stuff. But you understand the message clearly of the film and how important family and community is, and celebrating your culture. That's definitely what I got from the film as a viewer. So if y'all haven't yet, y'all definitely need to go check out Sinners from Ryan Coogler. Like, he's definitely in his bag at the moment, because I already was hooked when Black Panther dropped, so he's definitely up there in terms of one of the best directors out here in the game. So if y'all haven't yet, y'all need to watch Sinners, like, now. Like, go get a ticket now. I'm Treacherous Slayer, and I'll see y'all later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bye.